Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9. Good night.
Good night, Malaysian 370.
Breaking news tonight, a Malaysia Airlines flight with 239 people on board, including 4 Americans, has gone missing.
From the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
Okay, guys, hey, what's up? Let's do this thing. So it is a martini on the rocks. We reached the martini on the rocks stage of the investigation, folks. For anyone who was wondering, I'm in good mental spirits, despite the fact that I've got either an extreme stalker going on, or I've got the intelligence community or somebody, a leaker or someone, playing mind games on me. Cheers. Oh, what a time to be alive, guys. What a time to be alive. So first and foremost, I'm not playing games with the community at all. This is really, we're beyond creepy, guys. We're beyond creepy now. The response video is even weirder. So I'm going to give you guys a background of what happened today. I've been focusing on my work, trying not to worry about the weird messages and Twitter stuff going on. And I went to get some lunch, late lunch today. And on the way to lunch, I was on my phone and I was like, I'm going to check out that channel. Because the thing that's been lingering with me is how people are like, oh, you'll definitely get a follow-up message. You'll get more messages, right? So I went ahead and I pulled up that YouTube channel and I saw there was a new video from 3 hours ago at the time that I looked it up. And so I'm like, okay, it says something about glitter conspiracy. So I figure, okay, that doesn't have anything to do with me, right? But I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should be reading or listening to these other videos just in case there's some clue or something we can discern from it. Because this channel was just put together. It's super weird. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking like someone either put this together to hoax us or someone put this together to like send us messages. So I pull the glitter video up, and the first thing I hear is they're talking about me. Not just talking about me, they're answering questions related to what people were wondering about the first video. Specifically, the idea about deflector and like how the video was made. So I'm like, okay, holy I mean, what the F, man? I wouldn't even, just for the record, for people who think that I maybe made these videos, I wouldn't even know how to make these. I wouldn't have any freaking idea how to make. I didn't even think something like this was possible to make. I didn't realize AI was like this advanced. It's pretty advanced. Like even just the voiceover AI. And I'm pretty sure we're going to go through both videos today. We're going to listen to both of them start to finish. I'm pretty sure that the first one was somebody's, I don't know, they said they typed it out or they translated it from another language. But there's certain clues and like when certain inflections happen where they would have to put in a prompt to get it to change the inflection, which makes me wonder if certain parts of it weren't like all caps or exclamation marks or something like that. And man, it's weird, guys, but I'm rolling with it. I'm rolling with it just because whatever, man. And so the other thing I want to address is some people think this is a distraction. Distraction from what exactly? This isn't slowing us down. We're not in a sprint here to get this thing figured out. Like, if this is a distraction, it's not really doing a good job. The only thing this thing has done is rejuvenated my interest in the case and probably brought a lot more eyeballs to the case. So it just doesn't make any sense from the distraction perspective. If it's a hoax, yeah, maybe it's a hoax, but for what purpose? It's not like I'm going to be embarrassed. You know, like the RAR file thing was a clear attempt at embarrassment, right? Like, that was a thing where they were, and it was a scam. I mean, a literal felony, literal criminal felony. But, you know, also a huge fraud. And even that, the story they had to come up with was just some weird story about a fake guy and his fake wife, right? And about some air-gapped files. Like, this is taking my whole investigation, knowing everything about it, and then adding like a few twists to it and using the theory that I've considered like the least probable one and like building it up into a big thing. So yeah, I still think that this is something that's most likely some kind of, I don't know, prank, I guess is the right way to put it. But man, it's weird. It's real weird. It's weird enough that we're going to look into it and we're going to try to figure it out until this thing plays out. And it's worth it, I think, to put into it. Just because the 0.1% chance that it could be real is worthwhile to look into. There's a lot of pretty bizarre things on this. So the other thing, too, is that there's like direct connections to the people that they're talking about that I know. Right? Like, Malcolm Bendall is hanging out with Bob Greenyer right now. And I've been talking to Bob Greenyer like every day. So they're directing me to a guy that people I know are hanging out with that I think Bob Greenyer's like the one experimental engineer / physicist or whatever that's like figured this stuff out. And like, my personal opinion, this is what I told Bob, is that I think Bob is more correct than he even realizes on the technology. And it's just a matter of applying it from the engineering perspective to certain aspects. Like, I think Bob gets the underlying, like, he understands it intuitively better than most people. I think the military has already freaking weaponized it, right? So, we're going to go through that. Let me see if there's any questions. If you guys have questions in the chat, let's switch over to full screen here. I have a strategy. We're going to do something that I'm not going to reveal right now, but based on what happens tomorrow, I'm going to reveal what my strategy was. I don't want anybody to know. I'm not going to tell anybody. And then tomorrow, I'll let you know how it plays out. I have an idea. And I think that what we should be thinking of are what are ways where we can determine whether or not this is a hoax or not, right? I think if this is a new channel trying to get subscribers, well, bravo, man. Bravo. You earned them. You earned them. If they're going through this much effort to create weird hoax videos that are direct messages to me that are extremely parasocial, you got my attention, man. You've got it. There's a video I'm going to post either later tonight, probably later tonight before I go to sleep, and you'll understand my mindset on it. There's nothing to lead me astray, Nikki. Well, lead me astray where? Back into the case? Back to the technology? To the people that I think are literally developing the technology? It's not leading me astray anywhere. That's the problem, right? Yeah, and if this is super fake, then it's totally earned, man. It's totally earned. I think that most of you guys would like. If this wasn't about me, I'd be hitting you with the popcorn, drinking, watching along with this. That's how entertaining I think it is. The fact that it's about me just adds a creepy level. That what I've been telling people is about the technology is that when you start to realize the technology is real, stuff that people think is fake and can't be real, whatever, the line between reality and fiction starts to blur. Starts to blur a little bit. You don't know what can be real anymore. You don't know what the intelligence community would do, right? Now, it's about me, so that's when I start to drink, because that's the solution to all problems in life, right? Cheers, folks. Martinis on the rocks. So, yeah, Glitter Part 2 is supposed to come too. So let's go ahead. What was it called? Real creepy videos. There it is. Well, that's not finding it. So I mean, if they're trying to get views or whatever, man, they got a long way to go, man. I think they have less than 100 followers. So, I mean, maybe. It seems like a very pointed message at me. I don't even know how to find it. I'm actually not even subscribed. What was it called, guys? What's the name of it? Real creepy, or is that not what it is? Folks, help me out. I don't have any blue cheese olives, so we're just drinking it straight up. Oh, well, there you go. Did I reveal anything important there? I don't know. Bob was just telling me how he thinks the videos are fake and that people are super parasocial, and I mean, I can't disagree. I can't disagree, man. Probably. So anyway, now you have proof that that was really from Bob. There's the messages where he was sending me that video. That video is from today, the one that I posted here, guys. We'll go through this chronologically for people who need to catch up. I've watched, what is it? Look at my history. No, I'm not going through my history on stream. Real creepy videos or real creepy stories. Okay, so it just didn't show up when I looked for real. I mean, it doesn't even show up when you look for real creepy stories. It literally doesn't even show up. Okay, we'll find it. Don't worry. We're going to get people caught up to speed here on all this. I've watched this video. Here it is. Probably 25 times now. It's 11 minutes long. So I've spent probably 3 hours in the past couple days watching this video.
This is a submission.
That's how weird it is to me. Real creepy stories. Yeah, that's what it's called. So now they have a lot more subscribers. They have 200. They had like 100 earlier. This has got 5,000 views already. Nearly. I'm going to commentate and pause it at certain parts. Actually, yeah. Okay. Oh, here we go, folks.
Sent to us the 8th of January of 2024. It's a letter to an Ashton Forbes telling a new story of what happened to Malaysian Airlines MH370 that disappeared back in 2014. And as always, don't trust what you read on the news. Trust your own capability to see the world for what it really is. Here we go.
I work or have worked at a military base in the Maldives, and I know exactly what happened to Malaysian Airlines MH370. This is also a letter to Ashton Forbes. You are not wrong, and what you do are much bigger than you even can imagine. Don't stop what you are doing. I won't tell anything about myself more than that I currently or in the past has spent time at a military base in the Maldives. That I have done this type of work since I joined the military when I was young, and that was many decades ago. Still in the game, but the years are starting to get to me. I write this because I want the world to know that most of the trouble on Earth are created for political reasons. United States, or at least a covert administrative elite of the U.S., has, at will, complete control, and this has been true since the 60s. Flight MH370 arrived at our base, by our hand, at 1856 UTC after we picked it up, mid-air, outside the island of Great Nicobar. Just one of many, many things we do. We can pick up anything, anywhere, and deliver it in an instant, like a magic FedEx. Some facts about why it happened. MH370 had defectors on board. They were running to China with American technology. They are Chinese by blood and had gotten themselves into a situation with the Chinese regime who got them to choose to defect. The whole play, everything, and I mean everything about it, was a political play to show the Chinese who's their daddy. That's us. Some facts about how it happened. All passengers are dead, all but the handful of deflectors. The plane did not crash. The plane was on fire, we know because we started it. The plane was picked up by us, on fire, mid-air, right in front of the Chinese. The Chinese regime knows exactly what happened, and that was the whole point of the operation. Okay, this is what I want to share with you. As I said, I have been doing this for a long time. I know the technology and have been a part of hundreds of operations. So let's start with the tech. The foundation is not superconductivity. Superconductivity is a product of the technology. We have had this since the 1960s, and from that first day we have used it to make sure that no one else can have it. The big breakthrough to apply the tech as we do today came in the beginning of the 2000s with quantum computers, and by this, the paradigm for AI technology. What we had to do programmatically before, we now can do with something akin to machine intuition. This lets us operate in fast-moving environments where event-based logic in linear programming was very limited. As I said, what you have found is not the technology itself, it's just one of many derivatives of the technology. I encourage you to keep on with what you are doing, but you should also be aware that there is a deeper layer that you could focus on instead of the Miami aliens that I see you have been posting about. I will give you some pointers for this at the end of this letter. The products or application you are now working on is correctly based on superconductivity. The number of orbs you've been speculating about is correct. The fourth orb decides where the object ends up. The technology is based on structures, simple and beautiful structures that lets us use the unlimited power that is everywhere and step outside what I would like to describe as perceived reality. The structure that is used for what you are looking at is a metastructure that creates a low complexity and relative low energy phase transition. The beauty of this technology lies in its elegance and simplicity. The structures are inherently stable and self-regulating, and the earlier challenges to conduct operations were 100% based on the limits of man. With the same technology, just a slightly altered monostructure gives us an infinite power generator that without maintenance can run forever. Combine structures to a meta-product again, and you have the propulsion for a transmedium object moving faster than light. It's the definition of magic. There are endless applications, and the truth is that it would change the world in an instant. But that won't happen. I bet yourself, or at least most of your audience, have heard a version of the story that the aliens are here and they want to bless us with new clean and revolutionary technology, but we are a too young and rowdy civilization and would not be able to be responsible enough with the gifts from them. That's probably made up, but that is at the same time completely true. It's just not aliens saying this. It's us again. The technology is infinite in its power, and if two rivaling parties had access to it, this world wouldn't last a day. The same technology, with a combination of monostructures, makes a terrifying weapon that turns any matter into dust, and that dust turns into air. It does not matter if the object is a small bird or an aircraft carrier. It cannot be stopped. It does not miss. And when the object has been hit, the phasing cannot be stopped. Okay, so back to MH370. We knew about the deflectors as soon as they made their decision. Well before that, but then they weren't deflectors. Anyway, we knew when, how, and why back in December, and as we do, we made it into politics. We let them go. We took them back and sent the Chinese a clear message of who is in control. And we did this with a brilliantly produced show that is fit for a Hollywood production. Any good movie has fire, desperation, regret, and drama. And every movie villain should see their plan fall apart. And in really good movies, just when the villain has accepted that the plan has failed, the heroes of the movie steps in and makes it worse. This is what happened. As soon as we knew what plane was the last leg of their journey, we planned and delivered, so the plane was loaded up with lithium-ion batteries, built by us for this occasion. Lithium-ion batteries cannot be put out, has a predictable burn rate, and we made sure that the volume was just right for a long burn that would allow for a full-length show. The Chinese were following the plane since it was on the tarmac and got to see their most close-to-success operation go up in flames. And just as all hope was lost, we made it worse. Right in front of their eyes, 2 hours and 13 minutes in, they saw the plane get phased out of there by the same technology they were trying to get access to. And 5 days later, the Chinese officially made a gesture of submissiveness by publishing a frame from the satellite of the phase moment via the State Administration for Science. The publishing was talked about in American newspapers as a possible debris field. But when you know what you are looking at, it's clear what the frame shows. The aftermath. During the 5 days after the show, the Chinese found out about the batteries, that we both made and placed them on the plane. They accepted that we have been playing with them the whole time and at the same time could accept that the people they had convinced to deflect did what they wanted. It was us that stopped them. The deflectors had a good corrective experience when it comes to staying loyal and were back on the job as usual, but with a new understanding both of their importance and the consequences of their actions. What was nothing more than another Friday at the office for the administrative elite, 200 people had the most confusing death experience you could imagine. 1,500 people lived a tragedy, losing family members in a mystery, and 10,000s spent months searching and millions speculating for years. Then in 2014, military footage of the event got published on YouTube. Not our problem. The person responsible for the leak was identified and taken care of. Not by us, not our problem. Then came you. Hi, Ashton. Impressive. This is what I want to leave you with. There was a guest on the Joe Rogan podcast that was talking about sacred geometry and some new technology his friends had discovered on some island somewhere. He did record another episode, but it never been published. Doesn't the wording sacred geometry remind you of something? If you choose to spend time on this, which I think you should instead of mall aliens, keep in mind that your case is one product of the technology. What happens on the other island, you will understand this if you pursue it, is another more rudimentary product. What if those in combination could lead you on the right path to the actual technology? The gray-bearded man is the key, and he probably has no idea that he is. Finally, I want to say this. How do you defeat someone who can turn skyscrapers to dust, completely erase whole neighborhoods in an afternoon, and steal a burning Boeing 777 midair? Someone who, when needed, has the complete control of all media and crafts the perception of events and has most of humanity eating from its hands. After almost a full life in their service, I think I know the answer. You talk about them, and you don't stop talking.
Jesus, man. Holy crap. You guys think somebody made that? Some Redditor made that? Really? So I took notes. Okay. There are several aspects of this that are completely original. They're not out there as part of the investigation, that are nobody has come up with. This is somebody who's way into this investigation, at least as much as we are. Somebody who's creative enough to come up with original concepts that we haven't proposed as well. Somebody that seems to not like the government. I mean, coming up with the whole ass paragraph, and a lot of this stuff AI cannot come up with. A lot of the phrases and comments that were in there, AI can't come up with. It's too personal. It's too direct, right? It's like somebody had to have sent this message with clear intent. So I'm going to go through it. First of all, they start by telling me I'm not wrong. So they're starting with a direct message. This already is not AI. AI doesn't talk like that. AI doesn't go, "You're not wrong, Ashton." No, the AI, if we talk to Grok, AI is going to just come up with generic terms and phrases and not make a personal message, right? This is somebody that spent time in the Maldives. So they don't specifically say they're at Diego Garcia, right? But they are alluding to Diego Garcia for sure. But I looked up other bases and I couldn't find any. I think this is 10 to 100 times more creative than taking some RAR files and copying it onto, or taking some files and copying them onto a RAR thing. It's similar vein of weirdness, but that was like, there was a clear goal with the RAR file copy thing, right? With the RAR file thing, they were trying to get us. It was clear scam, right? There's a reveal, right? Where it's like, oh, you got into your haha, you've been fooled. This is like someone wants to play a game with us. You're correct. We are listening to AI, guys. You gotta come on, man. If you're struggling with the fact that we're listening to AI, you're gonna be pretty far behind here, folks. The voice is, of course, AI. I mean, you can tell that the voice is AI, but there's a lot of clues in it. This was not written by AI, though. That's the thing. If this was written by AI, this is a lot of prompts that are being put in there, including original stuff. AI does not create original works, right? What AI does is it takes works from other places and peels it together. If you think AI could create this, go ahead and try. I want you to go ahead and try. I want to see how close you guys can get. Don't think AI is going to be able to produce this, guys. And I'm somebody who's listened to it 25 times now. Pretty sure AI is not creating this. Still in the game. So now they're talking about their own life, right? And they're trying to give us an idea of who this type of person would be. There's somebody who's been around in the military, but now they're probably disillusioned by it in general. They say that they seem to have inside information that the world is, everything that happens is based on political reasons. So now they're giving us an idea of the motivation. Not just the motivation of MH370, but motivation in general. They talk specifically about Great Nicobar, which is not something we've ever brought up. We've never used the term Great Nicobar. That's something that we've used. In fact, this is something I actually want to Google. Is Great Nicobar even a correct terminology? There is Great Nicobar Island. We've never mentioned this ever before. Never. Island in India. We've literally never mentioned this. So this is not even where we've been talking about. We've been talking about Car Nicobar, which is up here or something. So Great Nicobar. Is there a base here? This is something nobody's ever mentioned, guys. So I've never mentioned this base, this island ever. Not one time. I didn't even know there was a Great Nicobar. Okay, so this is another aspect that's very specific and very original. Don't worry, there's a lot more, as you saw from the notes. So this is another original aspect. Now here's another original aspect, entirely original. AI can't come up with this without a prompt. If I say it's original, then AI is not coming up with it without being told to come up with it. They took the idea that we know there's 8 Chinese free-scale semiconductor scientists, but they turned that into the motivation. They said that the 8 free-scale semiconductor scientists were defecting. And you could say that if you're following the case, you could have come up with that for sure. That these 8 free-scale semiconductor scientists, this is something in the back of my mind I thought about. 12 of them were Malaysian and 8 of them were Chinese. So this makes me wonder if we can look into the 8 Chinese ones. Maybe we can find information about them in general. The political play about who's their daddy, that's completely original. Nobody's ever even, there's no theories out there even about this. This is a completely original thought. This idea that this was all a political play in order to just tell the Chinese, we got you. Because now this is like saying that the fire was intentionally started. People have speculated, could the fire be intentionally started? And we always said, okay, maybe. But why would you go through that? It's a lot of effort, right? That's what I've consistently said on every podcast. They brought an original idea here and said, yeah, we started the fire intentionally. And they go into the whole thing about the movie later on, saying that we're showing them that like they're not even trying to hide this. We've also only speculated that you would teleport a plane to hide the plane. They're saying no, they're not teleporting to hide it. They're teleporting to show them. To show them that we can do this to them. It's pretty bizarre, man. Yeah, it also explains why there's so many on one plane as well, guys, for Adrian. Great comment, Adrian. We've wondered why so many people on the same plane. Well, there's your answer. Because they're all defecting together. And this was all a big setup. They wanted them to be on the same plane together. This is the creepy part. So they also say all the passengers are dead. Which we've never really speculated that, but we've said that, you know, it's not a good chance they're alive. But the way they say this, the creepy part about this is the part where actually I think it might be fake. Because in my mind, there's not an easy way to just save the defectors and not save everybody else unless you save everyone and then you kill all the other people. Which is pretty damn dark, man. I can't see American military firing squad just gunning down 200 people. I just can't see it. This part is the part that makes... This is probably, to me, the fakest part in general. Now, if they died incidentally, then I think I could see it. Superconductivity is a product of the technology. Now, this is something, too, where I don't think a Redditor could even come up with this. The Redditors are too stupid. They're just too stupid. There's no other way to put it. They're too dumb. To come up with this idea that superconductivity is a product of the technology, which is something that we've been trying to figure out, this now screams to me like it's a parasocial stalker person who like thinks they know everything about how the technology works. And they want me to believe what they believe about it. Now, the weird part is I agree. I think that is the answer. I think that superconductivity is a product of the technology. I think the technology induces superconductivity like the coherent matter wave beam. That's what the coherent matter wave beam is doing. It's producing superconductivity. And then superconductivity is the key to teleporting the plane, which is why... They're not contradicting themselves when they say superconductivity is a product, but it's also what enables it. Weird, right? Okay. They say they've had it since the 60s. So now this is something where, okay, who's coming up with this? This is like something where they have to be in the know, right? Or you're just making up lore now. Like, now this is something where it's like I'm thinking of like... Diamond from the Oppenheimer Ranch podcast. Someone who knows a ton of information, or somebody who's like, okay, I know it's like it was the Nazis and Tesla, and then we've had it since the 60s. AI is not coming up with this, I don't think. I mean, maybe AI could come with this part. And then they say the thing about the breakthrough was with quantum computers in the 2000s. Again, this is another original thought here. Because... yes, quantum computers do date back to the 2000s, but the way they talk about it with machine intuition and how like this enables us to kind of perform operations that we couldn't do before because it's like event-based logic. This is something I never heard before. I've never heard this from anybody. Nobody on the world. It's a pretty weird detail to add in there, guys, about the machine learning stuff. The derivatives of the technology, they're basically saying something. This is something we've kind of talked about a lot, is that there's other things that we could do with this technology, including doomsday weapons, fusion power, etc. But they kind of bring it down and say, well, there's like the shapes and what have you. The very simple structures and shapes are what allows the enablement of a lot of this stuff. And this is already where I'm thinking back to plasmoids in general. Quantum computers are hot. With this technology, it makes computers cold. That's very true. This is why you need room temperature superconductive microchips, so they don't heat up. Weird, man. There's definitely a connection between quantum computers and room temperature superconductivity, 100%. And that's why this quantum computer thing detail is really weird too. Like this could only be made by somebody who's following the case. It could be a psychopath, somebody who's like a legit debunker. The thing about the debunkers is that they don't think like this creatively, right? That's why they're debunkers, because they think it's all fake, so they don't dig into this level of it. If this is a debunker, this is somebody who doesn't believe what they say. There's somebody who debunks stuff because the idea this stuff's real is too much for them, but deep down they know it's real. Otherwise, this is somebody who totally believes and is wanting to drive us down a very specific path. The Miami aliens. So this is the thing too, where if this is a debunker, they're not going to bring up the Miami aliens thing. They'd be happy that I'm talking about something stupid like the Miami aliens, right? This is somebody that was upset. They were upset about the mall aliens. They're like, hey, focus back on the MH370 stuff. Focus back on the science. Why are you talking about stupid stuff like Miami aliens, right? This also sets a time frame. I only spoke about the mall aliens last Friday, less than 7 days ago. So this nails down. This wasn't an operation that they planned out like months in advance or even weeks in advance. They came up with this within several days. So they put this whole thing together since it was, let's see, the 8th was what? 4 days ago? So they did this in under 3 days. They did this in under 3 days. We can narrow it down. This whole thing they produced, they did it in under 3 days. They then reaffirm us about the 4 orbs hypothesis. Now, why is that interesting? Because Bob Grenier doesn't believe in the 4 orbs hypothesis. This rules out someone like him. And I had never really thought it was Bob Grenier. But if it's somebody that doesn't think we need 4 orbs for it, or someone like Roy D. Herbert also doesn't think we need a 4th orb, right? Those type of people are ruled out right away. This is a weird detail to add. Yeah, this could be somebody like stalker level obsession for sure. That's definitely in play here. They say the technology is based on structures, monostructures, very simple shapes. What do I think about when I think about monostructures? I think about a toroid. First thing I think about is a toroid. Everything I've been researching says toroids are the answer to all this. Everything. I can't believe I didn't know about toroids before this. Fractal toroidal structures. Those are how we can bend electricity, bend magnetism to our will. Yeah, the first person to come up with this was Dave Rossi. I'm extremely confident Dave didn't come up with this as well. I'm not sure he's creative enough to come up with this, honestly, although he's an extremely smart guy, but he doesn't have the time for this either. Q-Star is somebody who's interesting, but doesn't feel, this could be someone like Q-Star coming up with this for sure. That would definitely be a possibility. If so, they're trying to send us a pretty clear message here. I just mentioned the power from the vacuum of space-time. Now, here's the other thing about this, guys. They're right. This letter, it's not just that it's a prank or whatever. They're correct. They're correct on a lot of this stuff. They're correct on a toroid. They're correct on taking power from the vacuum of space-time. I'm not going to go into details, but they're correct. A lot of the stuff here, they're right about. So it's like, okay, if they're making up some of this stuff, they're right about the power from vacuum of space-time stuff. I think they're right about the structures. I think they're right about the 4 orb stuff. Like, it's weird. The perceived reality. So they don't use the matrix, which is what I've been calling it. They have a different term that they call their perceived reality, which is a slightly different take on it. Nobody I've hung out with, nobody I've interviewed has called it perceived reality. If Salvatore Pais was coming up with this, he would have said what does he call it? The vacuum, the empty vacuum state or whatever he calls it, right? Huh. Now here's another completely original thought that we haven't heard at all. He says that the low complexity has and low energy, I think this is not no, but low energy phase transition. This, you know what this made me think about? This made me think about Jack Sarfati. I think Jack Sarfati was the one talking about low energy phase transitions. And when you're talking about phase transitions, now this also makes me think about Roy D. Herbert. This is a completely original thought here. That it's not a complex system, or at least not a complex shape that creates the energy requirements, and that it's actually a low energy phase transition relative to, everybody says, well, it would take a huge amount of power to pull this off. Well, maybe not. Really what it takes is a certain type of self-organization to occur. And once you hit that let's call it resonance, right? The same way where if I were to have a glass, right? And I were to get the right pitch, you can get the glass to break. Same idea, I think, with this technology. You get the right resonance, and then you can cause the phase transition to occur. It's weird. It's another way of saying what I've been saying, but it's not the same way. They say it's stable and self-regulating. Now, this made me think about, again, Bob Grenier, where Bob Grenier was talking about the orbs are stable and that they self-regulate and that they can last for like days on end. And they can just fly around for days. I forget about the thing about limits of man. I think this was something about the reason why we couldn't utilize this technology, even though we've had it since the 60s, is because we didn't have the capabilities that we needed with like quantum computers. Which now that part's interesting because if you look at the all evidence list, where is it? What's right at the top, guys? Right at the top of the all evidence list, AI, ChatGPT, and quantum computers. I wonder if they fed the all evidence list. The thing is, I didn't make the all evidence list public. I just made the all evidence list public today. This has never been public, this list. If they had used an old version of it, maybe like, could the AI have used this as an input? I don't think it's enough. Too much of the stuff is too original. Guys, I'm kind of tired of the distraction comments. No more distraction comments, guys. Just to be clear, this isn't distracting from anything. There's nothing to distract from, guys. I'm also just tired of this bullshit distraction stuff in general related to conspiracy theories. It's possible to hold more than one idea and do more than one thing at a time, guys. We don't live in a world where you can only have one idea in your head at the same time. So move on from the distraction narratives. They're lazy, and you guys can do better. And I mean that in general related to conspiracies. Not everything in the world is a distraction from something. Endless applications that can change the world in an instant. This is another thing that's accurate. Yeah, it's too lucid for AI. I mean, you guys would know AI conversation is going to be very robotic. It's going to be very like Wikipedia, right? And they're right here as well. This technology will change the world in an instant, right? We've been talking about that. And the next thing they talk about as well is really bizarre. They say the thing about, you know, this, your fit, they speak directly to you guys. They say that they say that your followers will know the idea that the aliens have this technology, but they don't give it to us because we're too young and rowdy civilization. And then they go and say, well, yes, but it's not aliens, it's us again, right? Which is also a weird thing. There's no way AI came up with that terminology. AI is not going, hey, Ashton's followers, you probably know about aliens, but no, it's really just us here and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's way too specific, man. That's somebody wrote that. And the thing is, the weird about that is that's what I think too. That's my opinion. My opinion is there might be AI, there might be aliens out there, but when we're talking about this technology, we're talking about, yes, as you just put, tear tiles, breakaway civilization technology here. And I don't think we are ready for this. I think we are too young and rowdy a civilization. If that wasn't MH370 in those videos, I'd probably give this up and just go, keep this information to myself. But that is MH370, so we're pushing it, Infinite power. So the infinite power part is definitely real as well. I think that the answer for this technology is that it's like a singularity itself, where once you've unlocked this technology, you've reached an infinite power capabilities. That's how you can blow up an entire planet with this. You might even be able to blow up a star with this. You just have to scale it up, maybe not even scale it up that much, Because I think it's the type of situation where the power just builds up and up and up and up and up, and you can amplify it. It's pretty bizarre. Doomsday rivaling powers. So then they mentioned that if humanity had this technology with two rivaling powers, we would destroy ourselves in a day. This is exactly what my opinion is. This is exactly it. That this is doomsday, this technology. That this is the reason why they'd be hiding it. Like, the geopolitical implications and the economic implications are huge, but the implications here of doomsday rivaling powers is the reason why you hide this. Because you're afraid that we're going to destroy ourselves. And now that's a reason why you have to think about it like this. There's not good guys and bad guys in this world. It's shades of gray. So you've got people out there that think, yes, humanity is too stupid, we will destroy ourselves. And then you've got people out there who are saying, well, even if we destroy ourselves, that's our decision, right? And now when those two, both of them have noble perspectives, but when those two perspectives combine, this is where you would get the type of situation we have in UFOlogy right now, where you have this warring, almost like warring factions. Some people who want it to come out, some people who don't. You think about the true implications, and what they said there about the rivaling powers, it fits. That's art. Sorry about that. It fits. It's weird. Oh, let's see here. No, awkward. I'm not going to go through how the AI voice was done right now. We're going to go through all this. Okay. The phasing cannot be stopped. So the phasing cannot be stopped is another original thought, okay? This is not something that I've brought up ever. But this is an interesting thing where I'm trying to figure out if this is real or not, or if this is true or not. Now, the phasing state change that we see happens almost in an instant. When we watch the MH370 video, the phase change is pretty quick. What I wonder about here is, do they mean once the endothermic event begins? Or do they mean like when the orbs begin to circle the plane? That's what I'm trying to figure out here with this phasing change thing. Now, if this is fake, then this is something that we can verify or not. Is what does this phrase, the phasing cannot be stopped, really mean? Because does that mean that like once you phase them out, that's it? Or does it mean something bigger than that? Not sure. But that's something that nobody's ever really brought up, not even any of the people we've talked to as well. They knew in December about, and just to be clear, I know that the voice is AI, guys. That was never in question. I knew the voice was AI the very first second I listened to it. I knew the voices were AI. That's never been in question. I am interested in generally how it was done, but I'm more interested in the content for how they did this. Because they didn't just tell an AI to make a story. This was way, way too detailed for an AI to just make a story. If they had an AI make this story, it would have had to be a lot of prompts and a lot of original thoughts that they threw in there they told the AI to think of. A lot of this stuff, if you were to ask the AI, it's not going to know. Because science doesn't know right now, right? The same reason why we're disclosing the information, because this information is simply not out there. Okay, now it gets even weirder. They bring up a completely original supposed fact. They say that we, maybe the US or the Allied powers, knew about the defectors in December. This is 3 or 4 months before the plane went missing. This is something that I've never even speculated. Never even thought about before this. They knew about the defectors in December, and they let the plan go through just to tell China like how powerful we are. How'd they come up with that? They just came up with this original thought that, oh, we knew these were defectors and we knew about it since December. It's weird, man. That's something I just can't stop thinking about, right? It's like they added all these original details to the idea of the espionage theory. Don't worry, guys. We're going to get to the next video, and then you'll understand the defectors/deflectors issue and what have you as well. We're going to have more details on this as well. Okay. Now, they also mentioned another detail around this as well. They mentioned the last leg of their journey. So now they've put together that these people weren't hanging out in Kuala Lumpur, that they flew to Kuala Lumpur, and then that was the last leg of their journey where they got on the plane together. Now, why is this important? First of all, this is something else, again, that nobody's speculated on. I didn't even think about this before this. And I went, that's weird. Yeah, they probably were all flying from like different parts in the United States. They get to Kuala Lumpur, and then they go to Beijing. Why else is this important? Because this might be a verifiable piece of information. If it turns out they really did all connect in KL on Malaysian Airlines, because it's Malaysian Airlines, that's their hub, then that's interesting, because from the espionage scenario, that makes sense too. So now they're coming up with a completely original espionage story that seems to have a lot of details in it that all line up to an espionage event. Now, if they were hanging out, some of them were like hanging out in Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur before this, that would debunk this story. But if they weren't hanging out in Kuala Lumpur, they didn't have like a conference there or something like that, now all of a sudden this is factual. Is this evidence? Is this information even out there on the internet? I don't think it is. So investigators who are watching, MH370 investigators, let's find out if these guys actually connected in KL. If they either did connect in KL, then this adds information about the legitimacy of this video. If they did not connect in KL, that they were there beforehand, this will potentially make us think the video is fake. So again, this is why we're investigators, folks. We're not just sitting here making up theories or whatever. And hey, Ellie, hey, Amanda, hey, Kimberly, hey, Paige, hey, everybody. I only say hi to the girls. Just kidding. Hey, Nathaniel, say hi to you too. But this is stuff where we can check into it, right? And maybe we can figure this stuff out. In fact, I have a link that I was looking at earlier today that may help us pinpoint down who these people are. If we can figure out who these people are, then we can figure out if this is a real situation where they were on their last leg of their journey or not. They also bring up another original detail. So a lot of people out there were going, none of this is original or what have you. Guys, a lot of this is original. A lot of this is original, man. Quite a few bits of this are completely original. And I know because I'm the lead investigator into this, so I'm very, very familiar. I've done 60 podcasts, guys, maybe more. So I'm very familiar with the stuff that I've said and the stuff that I've never said before. So they say that they built the lithium-ion batteries. Now, why is this weird? Because the batteries were built that day. That was very bizarre. Why would they put together the batteries that day? I always thought that was a weird detail. Wouldn't it make more sense to have the batteries be packaged and ready to go beforehand and then put them on? But the fact that they put them together and they did not screen them twice. If you're thinking of an espionage scenario, you couldn't ask for a better espionage scenario. Yeah, good call on the Chinese pictures. Did I mention that? We're going to get to that part here in a second, guys. Get ready. Oh, I've got something better than that X-Milieu. I need to find it, though. I've got too many links now. I've just got too many links. So I'm going to show you guys the names. I think this is it. Okay. So we found a blog post. Now, ignore the part... Oh, man. Can we convert this to English? Ugh. Ignore the part about this connecting stuff to MH17. Down here, this is actually just, look at this. This even has the no flight scheduled thing built into it. Like somebody was digging in early on. Here are the names of the people. Not just that, because I was like, well, I want to know the names of the Freescale scientists. Well, this one has 4 of them. There's 8 Chinese ones, and here's 4 of them down here. Where are they? Here, Freescale, owned by Blackstone. Here they are. Here's 4 of them right here. I'm going to put these guys in the chat. Now, they've been trying to connect them to this patents. I don't think we want to worry about the patent aspect here. I think we want to determine, were these people connecting through to Beijing, or were they hanging out in Kuala Lumpur, right? Can I post this? I can't do pictures. So these are at least 4 of the 8, right? Because we know these 4 were the ones they were trying to connect to the patent situation. So we can connect these 4 directly to the plane and potentially figure out if they were there already. So let's keep that in mind. They also say that there was a predictable burn rate. Now, is that true? Probably. I'm not really sure. If somebody's a fire expert, I may have to ask my fire expert about the burn rate. If there is a predictable burn rate on this, this kind of totally destroys everybody's narrative that the plane wouldn't last that long. This person's bringing up this scenario where, oh, this was intentional and they knew how long it would burn, right? And they like knew it could last for an hour and 20 minutes, which we need. Weird. Now, here's one of the weirdest details for me. 2 hours and 13 minutes in, they say that this is when we captured the plane. This is definitely being calculated from the time that the plane left the gate, which is 1630 UTC. Because this means then that the time is 1843 UTC, and this matches the time of the Mayday call that China intercepted, which is pretty bizarre, man. This matches the time of the Mayday. If somebody would made this up, I would have expected them to make this 2 hours and 10 minutes in. That's what I would have expected. I would have expected they would have said 2 hours and 10 minutes in, because that would equate to 1840 UTC, which is the time that I've been throwing out there all the time. I've been saying that 1840 UTC is the time that the videos happen. They're basically saying the time the videos happen is 1843 UTC. That's a pretty weird detail. This also, in a way, it contradicts the evidence that we put forth. Not just doesn't even go along with it, but if we look at our satellite video, where is it at 1843? 1843, it's over here. The satellites are over here at 1843. This is far past it. So theoretically, I mean, I still think it can definitely see there. I don't think that's a problem. But maybe the angle doesn't work anymore, or maybe it still does work. I don't know. But I've never expected it to be 1843 before. It's pretty weird. This is really deep. Okay. Yeah, so this time thing bugs me a lot, because this is a pretty original thought that we haven't brought up there. Okay, the Chinese image satellites. Now, why is this detail weird? Because they use my theory here. As far as I know, nobody else in the whole world has promoted the idea that the Chinese satellite images were spycraft. I'm the only person that promoted that. I'm the one who said, I think it was on the Tony Merkel podcast was the first time I mentioned this. I said, aren't those pictures weird? Because if this is spycraft, this is like telling the U.S. we know what you did. And that's exactly what they say in this. So I went back and looked at them. Okay. I went back and looked, because this is the part where I was very skeptical. These first 2 images, these are definitely not when the plane's getting zapped. You know why? Because we know that the orbs are they're vertical. The orbs are vertical when this goes down. Remember? So this would have to be early on, right about here, right? They would have to have snapped it like here somewhere. Now, if they snapped it here, man, it's a different angle, but could those be the same clouds? Like, look at this hole right here versus this hole right here. And on the left here, this could be a different angle of these clouds over here. And if we were to zoom, if we were to go back a little bit, we do see there's this huge cloud over here on the left. And these clouds do look to be low altitude clouds. And this looks to be an object in the air. It's not in the water. So this creeps me out a little bit. I never really went this level of detail with it, but now that I've got an AI voice telling me that, hey, they were watching the whole time. So this is like something where, why would somebody fake this? Why would someone fake this detail? Go, yeah, they're basically going, yeah, you're right about the satellite. China was looking at it. And they did send this up as spycraft. Now there's 3 different images. That's the first one. This is the second one. This second one here as well is over the clouds. So again, I haven't actually looked into this yet. I'm trying to figure out, is there a spot where that you could hit this angle? Maybe down here over this cloud? Oh my God, yes. This could be right here. Wow. Oh my God. Huh. This cloud right here could be this cloud right here. This cloud right here could be this cloud. I don't know, guys. This is pretty weird, man. There's nothing to gain off of this, Ghost. There's nothing to gain. This is pretty weird, guys. And then what happens is they go vertical. So this is where I was thinking, if those pictures were taken, we can nail down exactly when those pictures were taken within like seconds. And I'll post the video for you guys who want to watch it while we're going through it here. Can I still not pin things? Why am I pin banned? I don't understand why I'm banned from pinning my own messages. Stupid. Where was that? Okay. Because when I go vertical here, you can't get, if you're shooting from almost above or directly above, you're not going to see them side by side like this. If you were to look down at this, you're going to just be looking at the plane. So there's a third image. This one. Not sure what to make of this one. Why is this one in black and white? This one could be of the Zap. This one actually could be of the Zap, I think. That's what my initial thought was if we pause it right at the Zap. Oh, I actually paused it correctly and then I went back. This is pretty much over this cloud. Now keep in mind, we're looking at it from an angle here. But if you were looking at it from overhead, directly overhead, we don't know exactly if this is on the cloud or in front of the cloud. Could even be, if this is from an angle here, it might be further over here than we think. That cloud there could be this cloud in the background. I wonder if this is the Zap. I'm not sure. So there's 3 images. That's the first one, second one, and here's the third one. Huh. Not sure. Anyway, so that's a weird detail. We looked at those. How much specificity they go into on the satellite images is also weird. They talk about the satellite images, which is my theory of spycraft. So they come up with this entirely based on my theory, supposedly. And then they even go to the detail of where it was released from. I actually looked up. That was true. That place they say that the satellite images were released, the Chinese website, that's where they released them from. I didn't even know that. I double checked. I went ahead and I looked. MH370 China satellite images. Now watch if you guys go back and watch this, and this is why I say, guys, you got to, before everybody just comes up with, like, everybody immediately tries to form an opinion. Oh, it's fake. Oh, it's not fake. Like, just investigate it. Don't try to build your opinion ahead of time. Look at the evidence, then let's dig through it. And then let's figure out if it's fake or not, right? It probably is, of course. But everyone, of course, is right away, oh, it's fake. Oh, it's not. I know this is fake. Like, no, you don't. You don't know. Don't pretend to know. Try to dig in there first and figure it out. The Chinese government released the satellite images. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find the thing, but there's somewhere where they say they actually released it through that exact same website that they talk about in the video. Chinese Space Agency or Science Agency's website. That's exactly where they released them. So that's a really detailed, National Institute of Chinese Institute of Science. Look, it is it. Yep, Chinese Science Agency. Weird, man. So that's a weird detail to add into there, okay? Let's see what else. Don't worry, this is... then the thing, this is probably... Did I already mention this? The 200... Oh, yeah, all the passengers being dead. This is the one where I think it seems like the most likely that it's fake. Because I just disagree that we would just kill 200 people. Now, the funny part is I think a lot of people will disagree with me. I think that a lot of people will go ahead and say that they think that we would kill 200 people, right? Yeah, okay. Well, that's an automatic block. If you're talking about clip art or VFX or anything related to pyromania, you're going to get yourself blocked right away. I'm just not dealing with idiots today. Go back to Mick West. And go back to making fake pictures of balloons that don't exist in the real world. Jesus. The debunkers are so goddamn stupid. It's incredible. Okay. The not our problem is a weird statement to make as well. They also make a statement. Did I bring this? Yeah, okay. So, not our problem. Now, why does the not our problem thing seem weird? Because it's almost like they're not the United States, that this is some allied country where they're saying that, oh, we didn't have to worry about this. The United States has to deal with this. But that's the thing. That's the only part where I don't get that. If they went through all this elaborate effort to make everything match up, the 1960s stuff as well, and then they bring up this detail about not our problem. I'm curious as to what you guys think about the not our problem part. That doesn't even make sense from a faking it perspective. Why would they make up this whole thing about it's not our problem? I don't get that. Seems like a very odd detail. I can't figure that part out. So I'm not sure if this is like, what if this is like India? And here's the other thing. We'll get into this in a second. Supposedly this letter was not written in English. They gave us in a follow-up that we're going to look at right after this, that they told us this was not written in English, that it was converted to English and then read out by an AI. That to me tells me that the person who's sending this to us is not sending this who's a native English speaker, or it's not their first language at least. From some of the other details, I would think that they probably do speak English, but it's not their first language. And the reason for that is they get a lot of like has versus have and other grammatical things wrong, which is very common, especially in Asia. When I lived in Singapore, you would hear that a lot from people who spoke English. It's one of the common things they get wrong because in their native tongues, they don't generally have those types of, I don't know what the right English terminology is for it, but vocabulary doesn't go to that level in some cases. That probably sounds racist. They said that the leaker was taken care of, but not by us. Huh. Because I kept thinking, when I reread this after like the 20th time, I asked myself, does this person have to be a United States person? Or can this be somebody else who's affiliated with the United States? And they do kind of mention the United States being the one that has this power that controls the world. But that doesn't mean that they are affiliated with the United States. That could mean, or it doesn't mean they are in the United States. That could mean they're just affiliated with them. This could also just all be a psyop. Like, there's so many angles to this right now. We'll go over those in a second. Let's finish it up, though. The leaker was taken care of, not by us. Hi, Ashton. Impressive. This one is just creepy as F, okay? This is creepy AF right here. This is like Dexter Morgan of, whatchamacallit, Dexter, like serial killer kind of comment. Hi, Ashton. Impressive. Okay, you've got my attention, man. You've got my attention if you're out there, you're watching. That's just creepy, man. I'm going to probably listen to this like 3 more times tonight. Not going to lie to you. It's so weird, man. Then they mentioned something about, they mentioned the whole Joe Rogan thing. And they said that he's got a friend that they discovered the technology on some island. Well, I got a news flash for you guys. Turns out this guy is on some island in the Maldives. The friend of... So I went down the rabbit hole, and this is not even a rabbit hole. Like, this is like somebody who knows not just the investigation, but they're familiar with like Bob Greenyer. Don't worry, we're going to watch the next video. It's like they know Bob Greenyer, and they knew Randall Carlson, who I had never heard of before. This is who they were trying to get us to go to look at with the gray beard. Everybody figured this out right away. Randall Carlson in that episode is referring to Malcolm Bendall, okay? Now, Malcolm Bendall is literally hanging out with Bob Greenyer right now. Right now. Right now, this very moment. He's hanging out with him. And it turns out they made a video. They sent it to me. Let's just watch it right now. Bob Greenyer sent me this video.
I'm here with Malcolm.
An hour and a half ago.
Bendall.
That's Malcolm Bendall. You're looking at him right there. Bob Greenyer is the one talking. This video was made today, a couple hours ago.
Trying to stay alive. And there's been some malicious rumours going about, hasn't there, Malcolm?
Very malicious rumours.
It is true to say that you have been developing ball lightning technology, isn't it, Malcolm?
It is correct.
It is correct to say that you've been developing ball lightning technology. It is correct.
My island, where I stayed.
On my island, where I stay.
There for 7 years, just to stay.
He's been staying there for 7 years on his island. Greenyer told me in our chats that he's talking about an island in the Maldives that this guy's been staying at. I asked him which one, but he doesn't want to reveal it for personal safety reasons. So he has been staying on an island in the Maldives, studying plasmoid, whatever.
Stay away from humanity, from those pesky little humans who keep on disturbing my work.
He's trying to get away from people who are disturbing his work.
And where's your island then?
Well, it's in the middle of the Indian Ocean.
In the middle of the Indian Ocean. In the Maldives. Plasmoid thunderstorm generator.
I like to be, in a peaceful environment to think. Yeah.
And you have absolutely no planes on that island, do you?
So Bob Greenyer thinks that, no, they're not. Well, they are, because here's the thing. They think that the letter is implying that the plane went to his island. Of course, MH370 didn't land on Malcolm Bendall's island. But Malcolm Bendall is literally on an island. That's what the guy is talking about. The guy in the guy or girl, I don't know, whoever in this video, they mentioned that the other island, we were wondering what the other island is. They're referring to Malcolm Bendel's research into plasmoid thunder, whatever technology. And then when they say the other island, they're talking about Diego Garcia, right? That has to be. They're talking about the other, it's more rudimentary in the other island, Diego Garcia. So they were laughing this off, and I told Bob, like, I think you're misinterpreting parts of the message, right? And they think it's all a joke, which, because I guess, I don't know, maybe he's had weird stuff like this to happen to him. I haven't had any weird stuff like this happen to me. Maybe it is a joke. I really don't know, but this is like either parasocial stalker level 1000, or this is like, yeah, James Bond level stuff right now. This is really weird. The gray bearded man is the key. So again, he's talking about Randall Carlson here. And I think that he's either talking about the shapes or he's talking about Randall Carlson being the key to get to Malcolm Bendall. Not sure. Very weird, man. But again, the reason why this is so bizarre to me is that I truly believe that Malcolm Bendall and Bob Greenyer are actually on the verge of what this technology is. They're actually on the verge of developing this technology that I think we're seeing in the videos. I think that they don't even realize how deep they're in it. I think they know that they're deep in it. I don't think they realize like how deep they are, like how close they are. Yeah, if this is a joke, it's not really funny. It's just extremely creepy. It's like someone's personally trying to tell us something. And then the last part, that whole clip about how do you stop somebody who has complete control over everything, right? You talk about them and you don't stop talking. This almost felt like a threat, right? Almost felt like a threat. Because they're saying, like, don't stop talking about this. And you talk about them. That's true. This is also true. How do you stop somebody that has unlimited power, that you have no way to stop them? The answer is you don't stop talking about them. You just keep talking. That's the only thing you can do, right? Man, what a weird message. Okay, so what's going on with this message? What do we think this message is? I think that the highest probability is that this is some type of stalker level troll job. It doesn't feel like Redditors could pull this off. It also doesn't feel like it's in their wheelhouse. I don't think they're smart enough to pull this off. And the second part is that it's not a message of like a threat. They're not trying to get me to do something that's embarrassing. It's like they're trying to encourage me to keep going. And the last thing the Redditors want is for this topic to keep going. They keep trying to get everybody to stop talking about it, right? They're trying to get everyone to stop talking about it. They're trying to get me to stop talking about it. So the message isn't on point for that purpose. It could be a stalker who is really invested in the science and they want us to be looking at their pet theories that they think is real, right? It could be that. Now, it could also be, let's go into the PSYOP angle. This could be a PSYOP where it is the government, any government. It could be, okay, Ghost, you're getting banned until tomorrow. I'm not dealing with any more trolling in the chat, guys. I'm tired of it, okay? I don't care. Keep the negativity somewhere else for now, okay? I want to talk about this with people who really want to dig into it. If you don't want to, go somewhere else. So it could be a PSYOP from another country or from our own country. It could be that either somebody is trying to push us in the wrong direction intentionally, or it could be from a situation where like another country is trying to, again, push us in another direction. And then it could also just be a situation where it's real, and this is the safest way where somebody has to reveal this information to us. That they think that, okay, using AI, they can, this is a way of like encryption almost, right? PSYOP, troll, stalker. This is troll level 1000. Like, I've never seen 4chan pull something off like this. This is so wild that I'm surprised that this alone doesn't go viral, right? The thing I compare this to, yeah, there's no gotcha vibes in here to what JK Philly fans saying, right? There's not like a gotcha aspect to this. This is similar to, what was that ghost call that somebody got in like 2018? And the media like blew it all up. Oh, this guy got this ghost call, right? This is the ghost call times 1,000. This is infinitely creepier than the ghost call that somebody got that was like some coded message or some nonsense like that, right? Coded messages and locked files, like those are troll jobs, right? This is like PSYOP, like mind games level stuff, right? Okay. So let me think. Are there any other theories out there? Anyone have any other theories out there? No, I don't think the troll aspect is me talking about it. No. Because it hurts the people. Like, if you go read like Reddit, for example, the trolls on Reddit, they all think that I made up this for attention. Because the last thing they want to do is give me more attention, right? That's the problem about it. That's the problem with the troll job aspect of it. Now, it could be. I still think that's probably the most likely is some stalker level. But I don't think it's for malicious purposes. It doesn't feel like it's malicious purposes. Mentioning the mall aliens in Miami is another weird detail that rules out. It doesn't feel malicious. Like, if anything, you would make fun of me and you'd want me talking about stupid stuff that discredits me, like mall aliens in Miami. Dan Islander, it does say a lot of things that we haven't said. Quite a lot. See everything that says original next to it? None of the stuff that says original is stuff that I've said, or all the stuff that says original is stuff that I've never said before. So, yeah. Okay. Let's dig into the next video. Anyway, it doesn't feel malicious. I'm also going to type up the whole transcript. It's kind of hard to get the transcript. Yeah, this feels like they're trying to help me. Now, here's the other thing, too, is this is not my theory. This is not my theory. The espionage theory is not what I've been promoting out there. And it's not even what I thought was most likely. In fact, I would have given it like less than 10% chance out of the theories out there. And they presented a pretty compelling story for why it was really an espionage event, right? Pretty bizarre, man. So yes, I'm going to type up the transcript from this. Like, the problem with the transcript is we can pull it from the YouTube, but it's like all chopped up. I was trying to read it the other day. It's a bunch of missing words. So I have to pull the transcript, and then I have to listen to it while I'm looking at the transcript, and I have to correct it. So it's going to take me, it's not going to take too long, but it's probably going to take like an hour to get the transcript figured out. We have part of it. Where is it? Is this it? No. I'll show you guys that somebody was in my Discord was able to pull part of the transcript. Here it is. But you can see like this isn't enough. I've got to go through and edit it all, and look how long it is. So I'm going to have to listen to it, and I'm going to have to edit this and make sure it's not missing any words. Because, man, look at this. I'll probably post the whole transcript, and then I think it's important for people to break it up chunk by chunk, okay? Pretty bizarre, man. Okay. Now, so fast forward to today. So in case you weren't here at the beginning, fast forward to today. I'm sitting there and deciding to go get some food. And I was working, and I'm trying my best not to focus on Twitter at all and anything that was going on Twitter. And I get to the restaurant where I'm picking up some food, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to check the YouTube channel. So I go to the YouTube channel. I'm on my phone when I go to the YouTube channel. And what do I see? Glitter mystery solved, a dead man's confession. And I go, huh, okay, well, they uploaded another random video, right? Because I'm sitting here thinking, I'll be honest with you guys on my thoughts on this. I think this whole account was made to send me this message. It feels that way. This Miami whistleblower stuff is almost like they're making fun of me. Almost feels like they're making fun of me. Because in this video, then they're talking about how stupid it was that I was looking at this. I'm not sure. So I would have thought if this is a random account that's not related to sending me a message. What I was expecting is that this glitter thing is going to have nothing to do with me whatsoever, right? And they start posting other stuff because they've got this New York tunnels one as well. Now, what I would give you guys the homework on is listen to these other ones. Is there any connection to any of these other ones to me? I haven't listened to any of these other ones yet. Although it says I did. I'm not sure why, because I haven't. That's weird. Anyway, yeah, so if you guys could look at these other ones and tell me if there's anything bizarre or any even subtle hints to any of the stuff that I've posted, that would be very curious. So anyway, I'm sitting there, and yes, I want to keep it. What I'll tell you is that I messaged after this one 3 days ago, and I think I didn't realize it till 2 days ago. It was out there for like a whole day. I emailed this email address here, and I said, is this a joke? Are you messing with me? What is this? Right? I didn't get a response back. No response back. So I decide I'm going to watch this video while I'm sitting in there at food or getting food. And I'm just going to see, like, is there any kind of like connection to this other video or anything related to it? I did not have to wait very long. Right away, there's a message directly to me. This makes me wonder if this is in some kind of big scam. Dan's show? Scary Dan? So is there a Dan out there that's messing with us? Maybe there'll be a reveal later on.
Welcome back, folks. We have received a letter from the researcher Ashton Forbes, who was the intended recipient in the earlier publication of the Diego Garcia story. We are happy that we could facilitate the communication, and we now need to do some clarifications in the name of journalism. Important to know, when you send us a story, you are guaranteed that we won't share it in any other way than the intended format. What we offer is for anyone to be able to share their story as a fictional radio theatrical production. As always, when you submit your story, you should use a good VPN and a throwaway email account. And we will publish your story in the confusing format of real made-up stories. Next, we want to clarify what elements of the Diego Garcia story that is creative freedom on our part. First, the original letter we received does not mention Diego Garcia by name. We found the name by Googling military bases in the Maldives. So let us be clear about this. In all publications on this channel, the script is everything and all that is original. The naming of an episode, the thumbnail, and hashtags are all clickbait. They are never a part of the letter. Second, the original letter was not fully in English. We used Google Translate and the writing software Grammarly to make the English version. This is not perfect, but it gets the message through, and that's what we care about. Third, all pictures and voices are AI, including me. This is to make sure that all publications clearly are fictional. No real people, no real voices or pictures. We are the perfect publication service for you who have great stories to tell, but can't because it would get you killed. And if anyone would ask us, we make up all stories on our own. So if you want the latest real-world stories and insider information...
Okay, what the F, guys? What the F? Okay, received a letter from Ashton Forbes. Yeah, if this is Danny Jones, bravo, Danny. If Danny pulled this off, I've met Danny in person. I don't think he's an intellectual heavyweight that would pull something like this off. Let's just leave it at that, okay? He doesn't feel like an intellectual heavyweight. Don't think he could come up with even half of this stuff. He could have maybe, had somebody else. Now, this is weird. The voice is AI, yes. And that's the other part of it, too. That just the AI voice part is wild. Like, the AI voice just alone is like, holy crap, AI is this advanced? But the stuff that they come up with, like, this is a script that somebody wrote, right? They received a letter from Ashton Forbes. That's true. I sent them an email. Realize this, they're talking in code during this. They're talking in code during this right here. So keep that in mind. They said they want to clarify some points. They're talking directly, not just to me. They're talking to you guys. They're watching the case. They were watching us the last couple days. That's what this tells us 100%. Why? because everybody's talking about deflectors. And they're going, oh, we got to explain to these people why deflectors came up in the AI voice. They say that they won't share any stories. This almost feels like they're telling me, they're giving me a message right here. They're saying, use a VPN and a throwaway email. Why would you use that? If you're sending somebody a message to this email account, why do you have to use a VPN and a throwaway? It's almost like they're telling me, send me a message, but use a secret email account and a VPN, and then we'll be able to communicate. Almost like they want to talk to me. This does almost feel like sentient AI. That's how creepy this is. It almost feels like sentient AI. There's an angle to this where I feel like they're showing us the technology of AI itself and how advanced it is. So then they say they want to clarify elements of the Diego Garcia story for the sake of journalism. But we know that the person coming up with the voice is the same one that's done the whole thing. So it's not for journalism. They want to clarify the elements of the story because they want to correct the people that are going, oh, why'd they say deflectors too many times, right? So the first thing that they say is interesting. If we read between the lines on a lot of this, they say we Googled military bases, but that's not true. They didn't Google the military bases. What I think they're saying here is that the base that they talked about was not Diego Garcia. Now, I think they do talk about it because when they talk about the other island, they're talking about Diego Garcia. But remember, in the first video, what did they bring up? They brought up Great Nicobar. Great Nicobar was something that we never had ever mentioned before. The thing that I'm really wondering is, was the plane sent somewhere that wasn't directly Diego Garcia? Did they send it to another base where they could then put the fire out, manage the fire, and then send it to Diego Garcia after that? I don't know. It just seems weird. I wonder if the base the person's talking about here, keep in mind, this might not be an American. So maybe the base where the plane gets originally dropped off is not an American base. What if it's something like the Car Nicobar base or Port Blair or some other base that we don't know about? Bizarre. Now, they could be saying this stuff for whistleblowers who don't want, their information to get away. This just feels like a direct message to me, though. Keep in mind, this is like a brand new account that was literally made just to send me this message, it seems like. If this is some kind of hoax to me, why have this weird follow-up where they clarify this? That's not how I expected them to respond. They say that the headline is clickbait. It's not part of the letter. So they're trying to tell us that maybe we should definitely want to be looking at Diego Garcia, but that's not the point of where I think that it's almost like they're telling us, don't think that this person was at Diego Garcia. Think it was somewhere else. Now, the next part's probably the more important part. Wait, Great Nicobar does have an international airport? Huh. Weird. This is the most important part, and I think people had already speculated this, but this was not originally written in English. It was written in another language, and they used Grammarly to change it, supposedly. And then they had the AI read it out. So it's almost like they did a rush job. They didn't go through and they didn't proof check it after it got changed in Grammarly. And it had typos. Not only did it have typos, they didn't correct the grammar in general. So why is this important? Tells me I don't think the person that is doing this is a native English speaker, I think that English might be their second language. They did a lazy job. They didn't go through and they didn't fix up all the language to have it be in English, or maybe it's face value, and this really is that they received it from somebody else. But if they received this from somebody else, then this person's acting as an intermediary, and they're in on what's going on. Like, the person they received it from is somebody they know. Honestly, the person I think about the most when I think about this is Punjabi Batman. But this is a lot of detail, even for Punjabi Batman to come up with this. Pretty weird. And the thing is, his English is pretty good. I don't think that he would have to do any of this kind of weird stuff. But if somebody sent Punjabi Batman a letter like this and then he wanted to post it, maybe this is the way he would do it. Although, man, this is just a lot of work. To me, this just seems like so much work that it feels like, I don't know. I think it's a joke, or a hoax, but, you know, the intelligence community aspect or foreign intelligence community aspect certainly seems plausible. INS Boz is a naval Indian base. Yeah, the Indian base thing is really what's getting me. Kind of feels like, whoa. It's located near Campbell Bay in the Great Nicobar Islands. What? What? Whoa. They extended the runway? Huh. Maps. Wait, what? Cannot find ins. God. So that's got to be, it's got to be out here somewhere, right? Guys, one thing, if you haven't figured out, that I hate is when people tell me what to think. I hate that, okay? Let's just focus on investigating, okay? Don't worry about telling people what to think. Just investigate. The truth will reveal itself. You don't have to, you know, try to force it. I don't see where this INS Boz is. Come on, man. Okay, there it is. Here we go. This is weird how we can't find this. What is going on, man? Why is it trying to print stuff? Like, there's Boz down here in Campbell Bay. Huh, okay. Interesting. Every time you talked about island, mainstream stirred. I don't know what that means. Okay. Okay, so what was the other aspects of this real quick? So then the other weird part is this part about they tell us straight up that this is all AI, even though we kind of already knew it was AI. No voices, no people, no pictures, you know, get you killed. Well, they do this so that because they don't want people to get killed from this. It's pretty dark, you know. Okay, well, Justin, I'm timing you out, guys. Okay, guys, I'm tired of the distraction angles, guys. Tired of it. Oh, let's see. I just don't care. Okay. Yeah, so anyway, this is the thing. So this came up, and then the rest of it's this story about glitter. I'm not going to go through the whole story about glitter at this point. You guys can watch it if you want, but they're not talking about glitter here. They're talking about some other aspect of this, which is like, I don't know, maybe metamaterial people have speculated. Now, there was some viral thing about glitter in general, which is pretty bizarre. I think I'm going to take this off for now. About some glitter shortage and that this idea that glitter's used in some type of advanced technology that might be out there. But I don't know. So, just to recap, 2 creepy messages in the last couple days. They're definitely watching. I think at this point we can say with pretty high probability that we're going to get another message, most likely. I like to think that this thing will see itself out. But let's go ahead, just in case they're watching right now. And if you watch that, you'll realize they're not talking about glitter, guys. Just watch it. You'll know they're not talking about glitter. So if there is somebody watching right now, let's take it from the perspective of this being a real whistleblower. I think they'd be trying to find a way to contact me with the information. Now, the reality is, since I've been scammed and what have you, I can't take anything at face value, right? I need verifiable information. I need actionable information so that I can work off of that. So if you're out there, then you got to give me a few more clues. You got to give me something that's original, that is evidence out there that I didn't know about, that I can confirm, that's verifiable. And if we can confirm something like that, then we would know for sure that what's happening is legit. Now, if this is a hoax, then geez, man, please stop. Please stop. If this is some kind of hoax, man, you're a complete psychopath. Like, complete sociopath nut job. There's no beating around the bush. Somebody who's hoaxing this has extreme mental problems and needs to go to a psych ward. Like, you need to be in a psych ward. You need to be locked up so you can't, like, harm other people and humanity in general. If this is a situation where it's a psyop by another government, well, good job. Good job. It's a pretty weird psyop. Now, the reality for the people who are upset that this is distracting from some greater purpose they think I should be doing, you tell me what that greater purpose is. You tell me what I should be focused on that's not this. This is the investigation. The only thing this is leading me to is more people and more science. So from that perspective, I'm not going to make everything about this, but I am definitely want to dig into it and try to figure out if there is science that's out there. And then what I want to say is, if this is just a random person who's trying to profit off of it, well, good job. But, could you do some other stuff that's not directly about me, because it's pretty damn creepy? Maybe making fun of someone else who's doing something that's really advanced, because hell, I would love to just be watching this and eating popcorn while I'm not the main character of the story. That would be great. And that's why I think the people that are watching, at least they get a pretty good show, because, man, this is wild. So more to come on this tomorrow. And are there any last comments or questions? Yeah, do you remember we picked you for this? It does have the same kind of aura of hoax, the same way the emails did with the psychopath scammer, about like you were picked for this, but it's not quite as self-congratulatory, or not as congratulatory. Yeah, so tomorrow, I'm going to get on in the morning tomorrow probably. I need to finish watching Timothy Aberino's podcast, and I need to finish getting ready with some of the questions for Timothy Aberino. I haven't decided whether or not it's going to be live. I'm going to ping him tomorrow and see if he wants to do it live or not. So if it's live, then I will be live tomorrow at, I think it's 4 p.m. Eastern time. And then if it's not going to be live, I'll try to push it out there as fast as possible. So I'll try to push it out there on Saturday or Sunday. Yeah, no, if this is a hoax, I'm going to have the FBI knocking on your door. Just a heads up. If this is a hoax, you're going to have the feds coming knocking on your door. So if this is a hoax, the best thing you should do tomorrow morning, very first thing, is put out a video saying that this is all a hoax and you're sorry. Because otherwise, I'm going to have YouTube track you down, figure out who you are, and have the feds knocking on your door. I've had enough with the scammers and the the people who are committing felonies, you're gonna go where you belong, which is prison. So like this is psycho level stalker stuff. So hopefully, for the sake of the crazy people out there, this is not some kind of elaborate scam. Because it is, if it is, you've pushed the line on this by far, guys. This is cyber stalking to the umpth degree. So that's, I think, where we're going to close it out for tonight. I want to appreciate everybody for jumping in on this stream and going through the evidence with this. If you guys have any thoughts, go ahead and you can post them in the replies or what have you. Maybe if you follow me, then you can DM me. If you're in our Discord, you can post the thoughts in the Discord. I have a couple ways and a couple ideas of how we can figure out if this is true or not, but I'm curious if there's more ideas that you can come up with for anything that we could do to figure out if what we are watching here today is a hoax or not, right? Yeah, and that's the thing. Even if this is a scam, you know, it's still got us thinking outside the box more, right? It's got us thinking more about this idea of a fire scenario. So I guess from that perspective, it's cool. But otherwise, it's really, really, you're way past the line on this if this is a hoax. It's pretty bizarre. Okay, guys, have a good evening, and we will talk tomorrow. I appreciate everybody, all the followers who've been following along. You know, this has been, what a wild case, man. If they ever make a movie about this, holy crap. The episodes about this will be really, really, really wild. Thanks, everybody who's been investigating as well. I'm going to stream probably tomorrow morning, but not 100% sure. If not, we'll definitely be streaming tomorrow night. So thanks, everybody. Peace.